Hello everyone, and welcome back to another R tutorial video. And in this tutorial video, we're going to continue our discussion of data frames. And this is probably the most important video in the series, so I strongly recommend that if you feel uncomfortable with any of this material, that you go back and rewatch the parts. Because we're going to be talking about indexing. And indexing, again, is one of the most important aspects of a data frame, right? Because a data frame holds all of your data, right? It's called a data frame. And being able to nitpick and pull out specific things is extremely important. And that nitpicking and pulling out, that's called indexing. So what I want to do before we do anything else, as always, is I want to start with a clean data set. So we're going to reload the iris data set again. So we have a nice clean copy there. And what I want to do is talk about what indexing looks like sort of broadly before we go through some examples of how we can apply it. So generally speaking, there are two ways to index. You can index something using the row and column identifier, or you can index something using the column name followed by the row number. So I want to sort of quickly just sketch these out in some comments on how these are going to work. So in general, you're going to have your data frame. So the first way you could do it, actually let's do this. Indexing with row and column numbers. Right. Generally, the way that's going to look is going to look something like this. You're going to have a data frame, which I always use DF when I'm talking about data frames because it sort of makes sense. So the way this would typically work is you would do DF followed by square brackets. And in those square brackets, you are going to do the row number. So we're going to say row num, followed by the column number. Right. This is the general structure here. So let's go ahead really quickly and let's just remember something from our first video, and let's go ahead, and we've already reloaded the iris. So let's call head again just to see the first 6 rows and all of the columns. So let's just assume here that we wanted to pull out this number right here, this 3.0, that is the second row of sepal width, which happens to also be the second column. So if we wanted to do that, let's call this sepal underscore 2 because it's the second row of sepal width. Actually, let's call it SW for sepal width underscore 2. Right, if we wanted to pull out just that value out of this iris data frame, we would call iris, right? That's the name of the data frame. And then we would do square brackets to show that we're indexing. And then we would index, well, the first thing we want is the row number. So again, we're trying to go for this value here, which means we want the second row. So we're going to the second row, comma, and then the column number, which in this case is also 2, right? Because sepal width is the second column, 1, 2. So if we run that, you'll see that it doesn't actually show anything. So we have to actually print it, print SW2. And you'll see that we get that 3, which is the value that we were expecting. So this is a quick way to pull out a single value. The other way that you could do this, I'm going to remove all of this extra print and head stuff. So that's one way to do it. This pulls out the value in the second row, second column. Right. The other way that we could have gotten to that same value would be to use that $sign indexing that we talked about when we talked about variable types. All right. So what that looks like is again, actually here, let's specify what we're doing. We're indexing using column names. Right, and that's going to look something like this, right? DF for data frame again, $sign, and now you'll see in a second that the contextual menu will help you out a lot here. But var name, right? The name of the variable, and then square brackets just like before. But in this case, we only need to use the row number. So row num. Right. So let's take a look at what this would look like. Let's do SW2 name. So if we're doing it by this method, we would do iris, right, just like before. And if you hit the $sign, again, you'll see this contextual menu pop up that has all of the different variable names. And so just like last time, we're looking at sepal width. All right, so this is going to pull everything out that is the sepal width column. We want to specify here. We want to specify only get me the second value in that column. So if we run that, you'll see that it, again, because we stored it to a variable, it doesn't actually show us anything. So we have to do the print it out, SW2 underscore names, Control Enter to run that. And you'll see that once again, we get 3. So again, 2 different approaches. One, you specify the row name, the row number and column number, and it's always the row number first and the column number. The other way is to specify the column by using the name and then the row number in brackets. So again, very basic, just two ways to do that. So what I want to do actually now is I actually want to stop this video because I really want to make sure that you have time to let those 2 different approaches sit in before we move on to more complicated indexing. So if either of those didn't make sense, hopefully you can go back and rewatch the video. And as always, please reach out. Thank you.